Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Infantry Pulse, and today we're going to be going through the June limited hero battles. So like we've said before, this is one of my favorite PvE game modes, just because it allows me to dig into my barracks and use some units that maybe I haven't gotten to use in a while, or some units that are just, favorites of mine. So we're starting off today with Cavalry Pulse here from Jugdral. So I actually did recently +10 my Sigurd, actually. So he is now a arena core unit of mine. So he has R dual cav 4, which means he scores like a 185 BST unit, which is, great. And he's actually just like a really good unit in general. Like Divine Tearfing is just like a super awesome weapon. Then we also have my good old +10 Legendary Leaf that I got entirely by accident. I didn't ask for him, but he's been really great for PvE modes ever since I've gotten him. He just appeared in a lot of banners where I was also summoning colorless, so it ended up that I just ended up pulling an extra couple copies of him.
This way.
And then we have Dancing Sigurd for support, and good old Reinhardt. Can't beat Reinhardt. Classic unit. Reinhardt's at like +3 or 4? I forget. He's mid-merged. I used to use him, before I was Infantry Pulse, I used to use him on Aether Raid's defense during Anima season when I had kind of like a mixed team. So my general strategy with this was just go in and nuke things as much as possible. I didn't really think too hard about this one, just because the units that I have are really strong, just in general. So Leaf has dual phase Brave, actually, so you can run things like Vantage on him, you can run all kinds of stuff on him.
Be careful.
But he actually, with the combination of attack res push and then Brazen attack defense, gets a ton of attack when he's in a certain HP threshold that's, below 80% but above 25%. He gets a ton of extra attack with that. But he also gets the extra defensive stats, which makes him kind of a good tank. Like, you see his defenses are pretty balanced, 35-33. So because of that, he's actually just able to tank through these enemies and retaliate with the dual phase Brave and win us the match. So that'll take us through the Jugdral units. I really do hope, side note, I really do hope Jugdral gets a remake soon. I would really like to play those games. Next up, we have Shadows of Valentia. So this is the first showcase of my +10 Zeke that I now have. In the process of trying to pull for Not, I pulled not just 11 Zekes, for the +10. I pulled 18 Zekes. 18 Zekes. That was my luck that I had on that banner, so that's not great. So to lean into the meme, I decided to actually build him up into an Aether Raids carry. I used him one time last season, and it was against a dragon team, and I just used him because he had Ruptured Sky, and he is partnered with Brave Lucina on that team, so there was lots of dragon effectiveness flying around, so it turned out really well. Bridal Catria is also here. Super great unit for PvE. Super great unit in general, but especially for PvE. So you're going to see how Bridal Catria is really the unit that carries us to victory here, because you saw Alm hops across with ground orders, and then we're going to do the same thing with Catria. Catria hopping across with ground orders, getting her Brave weapon effect off because of triangle attack. So all of these units are suddenly Brave units. Then we're going to hop across again with Celica. This is a Forma Celica, by the way, and it's just the skills that I had on her when I got it. That green build, you see, all green skills. That's just what I had on her. And then we're going to hop across with Zeke to finish off the Tibarn here, again with a Brave attack, which is just funny to me. So that pretty much wipes the whole board. Yeah, Catria's just a great unit. You saw I've used her on an Aether Raid's defense. I think that's really kind of her place. So she's really good on Aether Raid's defense. I also think she could be really good on Arena if you decided to merge her up to +10, but that's kind of a big task on a banner without a spark and all that kind of stuff. So if you did it, more power to you, good for you. But definitely not something I did. Alright, next up we have the Fire Emblem Heroes characters versus Ashnard. So this map was a little bit more interesting. I just kind of grabbed whatever units I could have. I probably could have used a better set of units for this map, but I just grabbed units that I was like, these units feel strong. So, and also I just wanted to use Not, so that's where we're at with all that stuff. Peony's a great support unit as well, but Alphonse is going to be, as you can see, the primary carry here. Between Alphonse and Reagan, they're going to do most of the work here for us. I did recently switch my Reagan over to Wings of Mercy as opposed to lull attack defense, just because the lulls are not as good on Aether Raid's offense as they might be on Aether Raid's defense. Not a lot of people use visible buffs on Aether Raid's defense, so it wasn't really working out for me too well. Not really not working out, but it just wasn't doing anything, and Wings of Mercy is actually a quite good skill for, you know, support units on Aether Raid's offense, so they can kind of hop around and help get pots, or Reagan can reposition a unit out that's at low HP and then canto back, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we ended up doing for that. So as far as this map goes, the strategy is just to use Alphonse to great effect, basically, and just have him kind of carry the team. Reagan will poke down units that Alphonse can't deal with, obviously. But Alphonse can deal with Ashnard very, very easily, because he actually gets to double Ashnard, which is, you know, a fun time, thanks to Peony. Peony giving both the Gentle Dream buff and the Flower of Joy buff, which are super, super nice. Speaking of Peony, New Year's Peony is on the summoning banner right now. Super great unit if you pull for her. I would highly recommend her. She's really good for Aether Raid's defense especially, and if you want to go crazy and plus 10 her, she is incredible in Arena, just because she is a duo unit, so she actually scores much, much higher. So Reagan's going to use Senior Shell there to nuke down that Axe Infantry, and then Alphonse will be cleaning up. Even without his special, he does pretty well there, and then Peony can tap down this last guy since she can actually double him. And that will end our Heroes map. Ooh, almost dropped my microphone. There we go. Doing great. Okay, so next up is going to be Fates versus Innis and Eirika. So I love Innis, by the way. I love Innis, I love Eirika. They're the best things about Sacred Stones to me. I didn't super enjoy Sacred Stones otherwise, but yeah. So I'm using my Ouroboros here. She actually is plus 10. I used her on one Aether Raid's defense week because I needed a blue frontliner, and then they released Saros, and then they also released Not. So I don't know that I'm gonna get much use out of Ouroboros. But here, I guess I'm using her here, so I guess I will find some use for her somewhere. But yeah, she's a pretty good unit in terms of her stats for a Gen 1 unit. She has like a pretty balanced defenses. She's got, you know, a workable attack stat, so she can actually, you know, be an okay unit overall. I've also got this weird +2 Easter Camilla that I have with a Raven Tome on her. I used to run a lot of flyers for PvE content, a lot of mage flyers actually, and just run like Blade Tome mage flyers essentially as my core PvE strategy. And she was kind of like the counter to any bows that might show up, so I could bait them on enemy phase with Brawn Raven and then running Eye Shield in the seal. Ophelia, there's not a lot to say about Ophelia. She's just a super great unit. She's so good for PvE, especially since we got the Life and Death seal now. Makes her, you know, blazing specials that much better. And then Odin's one of my favorites, and he's a good support unit, but here you can actually see that after repositioning with Camilla, he actually does get a fully charged Blade Tome because of his Link skill and then the effect on his Tome. So he actually is able to nuke them down very, very effectively. Alright, so our last one is going to be versus the Infernal Naga. So, we're using Binding Blade's characters. Sophia is always a favorite when I have Binding Blade. It's also another opportunity to use Catria, because she comes with Thea, so actually Harmonize coming in clutch here. We get to use Catria again, and again, Catria versus PvE stuff is just so good. I don't use Sophia very much. She is still on my light team rotation. I just don't use her very much. There's not a lot of teams that I would use Sophia on that I wouldn't rather use Norn on. But she has, you know, played a role in a couple very clutch victories for me in Aether Raids. So still a great unit for sure. Guinevere is also here to be just the best nuke. She actually is like the hard carry of this clear here. And then Laurum, who's not even level 40, I just got her up to like level 30 something to do her, what's it called? Her heroic ordeal to get her dragon flowers. So she is not really trained up, but it's her role just to be a dancer here. So she doesn't really need to have a ton of skills or anything. Weirdly, like, Dragon Slasher could have come in handy because there are a lot of dragons on this map because it is Naga. But it's fine. She's just there to dance. Because she is the only dancer from Binding Blade we have, I think, actually. So I'm glad that I actually have that unit. She's also in the Form of Souls right now, in the, what's that game mode called? Hall of Forms. She's in the Hall of Forms right now, and I actually might pick her up. I might actually train her up. I am trying to go for a Farseid Fae build, as a lot of people are. But I think I actually might pick up Laurum as well, because I might try to go for a Courtly Mask build on her. And she actually has some pretty okay stats for that. Not the best stats in the world by any means, but she has some, like, decent stats to run, you know, that Windsweep Courtly Mask build. That would be really, really great. And being a dancer, she can be a support unit as well. So I have some ideas for Laurum, for sure. So you can see the strategy here is trying to just keep all the units within 2 spaces of Catria. So they're always getting that triangle attack off. It's really, really helpful here to eliminate units without taking a lot of damage and retaliation. Guinevere also provides some passive healing for any damage that might be done, so that's also, you know, great. So here is kind of the weird crux moment where there's this blue mage flyer that is actually putting threat down on Laurum, but Laurum actually has an okay res stat, and she is plus HP, as well as being in range of joint drive res from Guinevere. So she actually does live this, and like puts, not that it matters, but she does put some damage back down onto that blue mage flyer. So that's pretty good for us. Now here we're going to have to actually make a tactical retreat using the trace skill that Catria comes with. The trace skills are actually super good, especially the near trace ones, because they give you extra movement even after you have used up all your movement, because it's that remainder +1, right? So that's actually super, super clutch right there. Then Guinevere can just tank out this red cav, and I think last turn was the last turn. Yeah, last turn was the last turn for reinforcements. So now it's just these 5 units that I have to deal with, and they split themselves off nicely there into 3 on the right and 2 on the left. So Guinevere can just take them down. Hitting this red dragon first means that she can actually charge up her iceberg off of it, and then she can take out Naga without a problem. If you didn't charge up that iceberg for whatever reason, you could always use Catria to tap him down. But it is nice to just be able to, you know, nuke Naga down here with Guinevere and that Brave effect. Like, the triangle attack is just so good in PvE content. I can't emphasize that enough. I think it worked okay in Aether Raid's defense also, but I think the bigger boon was that area of effect ground orders buff, right? So that was really helpful for Aether Raid's defense for sure. As well as, you know, she just has inherent value on Aether Raid's defense being a harmonized unit, meaning that she can activate Duo's Hindrance, right? So that's really helpful. So now we just use Catria to take out these last couple units here. Again, using triangle attack to do so. Pretty easy here, just to finish it off. And then Sophia is actually going to get the perfect KO here against this green bow guy. 41 times 2 ends the match there. I hope you guys have all enjoyed watching this. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!